Hi friends, Judy here from an Aussie and a Kiwi Go Travelling, formerly known as in Aussie and a Kiwi World. We haven't been doing travelling just yet, but we do have a van, so I'm recording today from the van for the first time and just getting a feel of how it would be like once we get on the road and start recording some travelling videos for you. So today's just going to be a Flosstube, and I'm just going to show you a couple of finishes, some haul that I've received, and also what I'm currently working on with my whips, and yeah, what my plans are going forward for the next little while. So firstly, I'd just like to thank all my subscribers, new and older ones that have followed me right from the beginning. I have had a couple of extra ones over the last little while, so thank you very much for popping in. Hopefully you enjoy what you see. And if there's any questions that you've got, please, you can drop me a message here or Instagram, same name, or by my email, which is just down below. So, or you can pop a comment on this video and I can respond. I do respond to all messages on my channel, normally within sort of a 24-hour period, but sometimes there is a little bit of a delay, and I'm not always notified of when some messages come through. So if there is a delay and I haven't responded, please just let me know and I can definitely jump on and respond. So okay, let's get with it. So it's going to be a bit of a mix mash. I'm just going to actually show you things as they are. Now I've got it all set up just in front of me here, so I will have to sort of reach over, and I've got my notes here on the left that I will look over and check to make sure that I'm covering everything that I want to cover. But first of all, I just wanted to show you my finish that you would have seen on the Facebook page, on my Facebook group, and also on the Long Dong site, which is, and that was Long Dog, not Long Dong. Jules had actually mentioned that I had done a really good job on my fish and chips and my fishes going on, which I was really, really proud of. It was quite humbling to actually see the designer actually make a nice comment about it, and then all the lovely people that made some beautiful comments as well. That was lovely. So I have totally finished the project now, and I will just show. So this is the fish and chips, which you've seen already. It's got all the back stitch and everything, and on the other side has got the fishes going on, and both together, which I can't see you, but hopefully you can see everything, is the two designs together. Now, as Jules has actually mentioned, she has just released Fisherman's Friends, and I was a bit hesitant, saying, well, surely there will be another one that will come along, or let's just wait and see. I didn't jump on and actually start stitching it just in case. And based on the post that she posted about this, there is a fourth one coming, and we shouldn't have to wait too long for it. So that's very exciting. I did actually order a cone of the colour that I've actually been using, which is 3808, and so that will be plenty to actually do for the next two when I put them onto the same piece of fabric as well. So I did actually dye some fabric which was a bit of more of a blue. I'm going to actually still use that colour 3808 and put it onto the fabric that I dyed. I'm pretty sure I did show the big piece of blue fabric a couple of videos ago, but in the next video, once I've started, I'll let you know and I can show you what it looks like. But it's not as green or teal as this one. It is definitely a blue, but I think it'll still go fine with blue being the ocean. So that's a nice finish that I've got, and now it's a matter of just giving it a wash and ironing it, and I'll get it framed. Now the good thing about framing, my brother actually sitting there when I was stitching, and as I've mentioned before, Craig's not real keen on cross stitch, but he will appease me by just saying, oh, that's lovely, or yep, nice, or whatever, but nothing extravagant or exciting. My brother hasn't actually really paid too much attention to my stitching, but he did actually comment and say that he is willing to frame them for me. So the good part about that is he will measure it and do wood frames or however I want to frame it. The not so good part about that means I have to actually then lace them. So I have laced a couple of small projects before, but not big ones, and I'm not comfortable to do it in case it's not straight. But I'm sure if practice will make perfect. So I've got plenty of designs, pardon me, to actually practice on and get them laced onto some foam core board, and then he can frame them, so I'll be able to get them up on the wall. So I think I mentioned in the last video that when we were coming over here to Sydney that I only had one bedroom and a craft room. Well, now I've taken over 3 rooms, and I'll have a separate craft room, a spare bedroom that's going to have a bed in there for when friends and family come to actually visit, and then of course our main bedroom. But that means I've got 3 rooms worth of walls that I can actually put all my stitching up, which is really exciting. So okay, the next thing I will show you is just a little bit of haul. I won't show you everything because I know it'll take a little while. I'll do that and then I'll come back to another finish for you, and then we'll do some whips. So on my last video I mentioned that I'd actually purchased the Max Pigeon cross stitch in the forest. Now I'm really itching to actually start some designs in here. Just on the back here will give you an idea of what sort of designs they do, which are really cool. So I am going to do a flip through with this pattern, this book, so that if you're interested in purchasing it, you can see exactly what's in it first before you buy it. I did buy it just based on one pattern that I really wanted to do, that I'd seen someone else do, and but now that I've got it and I can see all the different ones that they've got, it's a definite must that I'm going to actually stitch many more, possibly all of them. So it's really going to be good. This one here, Laura from Stitching by the Shore, and also Karen from the Stitching Owl, they've both actually done this. I think Laura's finished hers and Karen is still stitching hers based on her last video. I'm pretty sure she was. And there's a few other of their friends that are actually stitching it as well. But yeah, there's so many in here, like this cute little fox. It's really cute as well. So anyway, I will do a separate video as a Flosstube extra with a flick through of all those patterns, and then you can make the decision on whether you want to jump in and buy it or whether you want to wait. I know Kelly from Kel Stitches jumped in after me showing it and just purchased the book anyway, but she is now in love with some of the patterns as well, which is really cool. I've just received a order from Amazon here in Australia, and I've had this book on my wish list for a long time, and when I was in New Zealand I just couldn't justify paying for the postage to actually get from Australia to New Zealand. And even though it wasn't going to be a huge amount, I just thought that I could use that money to spend on cross-stitch stuff. So anyway, I bit the bullet when I was buying my self-healing cutting mat, that I'm going to make some project bags, and I need something to put onto the table to save the table. And I decided it was time that I actually took it off my wish list, and I popped it into the cart. And that was Cross-Stitch with Catitude. So this is an Emma Congdon book. I have her other 3 books that she's got, and she may have more, but this one I really love. I think it's really cute. This is just a sample of a couple of them on the back there. She does such cool projects. I have never ever stitched one. So I own the 3 books, and now I own 4 books of hers, and I definitely need to actually get starting on one of them. So this is a perfect opportunity just to even start on one of the smaller ones that I can do. So I'm going to also do a flip through this book, just in case you're interested. If you're a cat lover, there's some perfect projects in here for you, and I'm sure you'll fall in love with some as I do that flip through as well. So I will get that recorded and up on the channel as well. Other little bits of haul is I got an order from JK Cross Stitch, is a supplier here in Australia, and just some Country Mocha 18 count Ada and some Magic Red 18 count Ada as well. So they'll be great to be able to start some new projects on. Not that I need an excuse to start them, but my stuff hasn't come from New Zealand yet. It's still 3 weeks away, and it's got lots and lots of fabric in there, but I just won't be able to start it obviously until that arrives. So, and then just from a de-stash site here in Australia, I just bought a piece of green Ada as well, 16 count Ada, or 14 count Ada. I thought this would be nice to put one of those Max Pigeon projects on. The de-stash site here, just like I guess everywhere in the world, has got amazing things on it, and it's actually quite scary because I did go a bit crazy in New Zealand, but now that I've got the whole avenue of the Australian stuff as well, more so because I had access to it before when I was in New Zealand, but now that I'm in Australia, postage is really cheap because I get it delivered here to Sydney, and yeah, it's crazy. The last thing I will show you for the haul is Judy was actually one of my viewers, and a young lady from New Zealand had actually started stitching this, and she mentioned something about it to Laura, which is the I Stitch Birds. That's her channel, and she put a post up that she'd started it, and she just started it with just these couple of flowers here on the black. Oh my gosh, I just thought it was amazing. I have this thing about flamingos lately, and I'm not too sure what it is, but yeah, this is gorgeous. I just love all the colours, and I think with it on the black, it'll actually really pop out on there. And you can have a look at the colours here, like they're just so many. They're amazing. I can't wait to start that, but not just yet. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you is another another finish. Laura from I Stitch Birds has been doing the cycling challenges, and I think I mentioned it in my last video, and I decided to jump on and actually get one of my caterpillar cross stitch Hello Petal, get some work on there, because it needed way more than 3,000 stitches, but it hadn't been out of the bag for quite some time. So I stitched along with the challenge, and I ended up getting a finish. So that is the Hello Petal. Now I didn't change anything in the project except for this ladybird. Ladybirds are red to me, and I'll just move that closer so you can have a look. So to actually have, it was charted in, it was charted in this orange that is just on that flower just there. And to me, I think it's just not a ladybug to me, or a ladybird to me. So I ended up putting it, and I done it in bright red. So it may stand out a little bit in the project, but it's cool. I like it. So, which is really cool. So that just leaves one of the Hello Petal, one of the caterpillar cross stitch project, and that will be the Hello Dear, which is this one. So the Tour de France is actually starting in July, and I decided that just to keep the same sort of theme, I'm going to start working on this one and for the Tour de France. So that's where I'm up to at the moment, and I'll take a start photo ready for the challenge, and we'll see how many stitches we can get on that one. So if you want to actually jump on board on that challenge, just jump across and speak to Laura on I Stitch Birds on her channel, and she will be able to send you through how many kilometers they ride every day, or miles, whichever way it works, every day. So it'll be great to have it. I do have a picture of it, and I'm happy to put those up. But if you want to actually see someone that's very excited about the cycling and what she stitches and things like that, please check her out. I'm pretty sure you probably already do, because she's amazing. My next thing that I want to show you is a finish that, now that I'm working here in Sydney, just a 6-month contract, I've been at work now 3 weeks, and it's been crazy busy. So I thought I left a really busy workplace before, this is even busier, and they do things a little bit differently here in New South Wales, so I've had to adjust to how they do it, the difference between the two. So that's taken a little bit of learning, but we're finally getting there. But it is really busy, and it's going to be busy for the next sort of month. So that's going to keep me away from stitching a lot. So, but on the train, I decided that I need a project that I can. I'm on the train probably about an hour, maybe an hour 15, hour 10. But some of that is actually changing trains from one to another. So I probably get a good 45 minutes of stitching, and it's just enough for me to be able to relax in the morning and get some stitching done. So I wanted some projects that I could stitch on the train. So this was my first one, which, see if I can put it behind something. Well, it's not going to work, Judy. Let's go with this. So this is Snow Friends, just a little dimensions kit. It's just on the plastic canvas. First time working on canvas to do a pattern on there. I have worked on canvas before just to do freehand stitching, but just designing whatever I wanted to do. But this is actually the first time I've done a pattern on it. But I really loved it. It's just the right size for me on the train, and I was able to finish it not far along the journey. So that was really cool. And once I finished this one, I then needed a new train start. So I chose this little Mill Hill kit, which is just the spring series called Spring Raindrops. This one's on perforated paper. First time ever stitching on perforated paper, and I don't mind it. So this is where I'm up to on this one. Sorry, it's weather's sort of going in and out. It's a bit cloudy. So that's actually quite cool. And I know that people have actually spoken about the wooden magnetic frames that actually go around here. I haven't been able to. I found some over in America for them to be sent here, but they're very, very expensive, and I'm not too sure I can justify that kind of money to send it over for one thing. So my brother and my husband, both being very good with their hands and with wood, are going to actually try to make me some. So if they do, who knows, we might be able to make some and get them on for sale for the local area, rather than having to spend all that money to get them sent across from America. So so this is my current train project. I did purchase a few more to actually buy so that I can always have one on the go. I don't want to have a space where I don't have one. So the next finish, which is a very, very long awaited one by lots of people, was my Bothy Bumblebee, Flight of the Bumblebee. All I needed to do was the back stitch on the tulips, and I've got it done. So, whoops, see if I can turn that around. Sorry guys, it's limited space here. Yeah, so I've got all the back stitching done. He's ready to go in the wash and get that frame. So I do have a white frame already purchased. It's in my boxes coming across from New Zealand, but so as soon as they arrive, I'll get that framed. I've got another one that I want to frame as well, so I'll get those done and get them up on the wall. So that was nice to get that one finished. Plenty more to do from there. Okay, so the last thing that I have to show is my saga. So a couple of videos ago, I think it was back in April, I mentioned how I had a problem with the hank that I got, the second hank of the PR Barbie from Silks For You, and I decided to just jump in and see if I can get it to work. So if I can just fold this a little bit. So you may remember that just here, yep, just here, there is what looks like, it doesn't even look like blue on the screen, but blue stitches that were in the hank that come from where the purple is, purple and pink, and then there was bits of blue. It was quite prominent in when I stitched it. which really turned me off having to, sorry, I just got to move a couple of things that's scraping and causing a noise. It was really actually annoying me, so I stopped. I could have had it finished by now had I have actually just kept going, but I hesitated, and I spoke to Jo from Silks for You. She was very willing to actually dye me another custom one, but there was no guarantee it wasn't going to do again. So I thought, okay, well, I've got these 3 other hanks of it. I need to just pick and choose what I use out of it to make it work well. So I found another skein, another hank out of the 3 that had a lot more pink in it than the blue and purple, and I kept stitching. Before I did that, I decided that it was time that I'd done some of the back stitch to see whether I can blend in the blue into the back stitching down below, which will then blend it in up the top. So I've just done one arch so far, and this is the arch I chose to do. So I'll just move that in and see if you can see that better. Sorry, hopefully it's going to focus, which it doesn't seem to want to. In the bottom as well. So this was so much fun putting this back stitch in, and I think it's now going to blend in the back stitch and the blue out of the colour and bring it up to the top. So now that I've actually done the back stitching and started again, you may remember last time that I showed this, which was where I just above that bottom arch there, where that camel thing is, and the blue bit was, I've done all from that line that's sticking out. Sorry, this is a bit hard to juggle. So I had done this round bit here up there. I hadn't done any of this here, so I picked it back up and I've stitched all of that up to here. So I'm now up to 68 point something %, and I've got just over 30,000 stitches to go out of 104,000. So I'm very excited to have this back on my Q-snap. I missed actually stitching on it, and I am definitely going to push for a finish of this over the next few months. So I think it will probably finish more like the end of September, because I've got 3 weeks holidays to go over back to New Zealand for my daughter's birth of her second child, and that I will take some stitching with me, but I'm not too sure I'm going to have time to concentrate on stitching when I've already got Finley and then a new baby on its way. So but that'll be exciting to actually get that finished. So I don't have any other whips to actually show you, but I do have a couple of shout outs that I just want to actually shout out. Some of them are ones that I've been watching for a long time, and I have watched right from the beginning, from number 1. Even if I hadn't found them when they first started, I have gone back and started right from the beginning and watched all their videos, which was a long haul when some of them have 200 videos, but I have managed to do that. So the first one that I want to actually shout out is or 2 of them actually. So Adelaide is the Adelaide Stitcher, and she always commented about Katie and Jeremiah, and I thought that I'd actually had them on my subscriber list. The names rang a bell, and I'm pretty sure I'd watched a video of Katie. So there was a little bit of a tag team going on that Adelaide would say hello to Jeremiah and Katie, and then vice versa, so they do it back to front. And so a few months ago I decided that I was going to actually jump on to Katie's channel and see if I can catch up from where I was. So yes, I was subscribed, and I remember subscribing right from the beginning of her channel when she'd first started. But as we all do, we've got loads and loads of subscribers, and I for some reason hadn't clicked the bell, and I wasn't getting notified when she was on. Well, let me say, I am so addicted to Katie's channel now. She has got the best outlook on life, about smiling and finding a reason to laugh, and her and Jeremiah laugh all the time together. I just think their relationship's amazing, and her stitching is like even just, it's out of this world. So if you're not watching her already, Katie, Jeremiah's mum, I would actually jump over there straight away and actually have a listen. She is funny. You sit there, and I watch her on a Tuesday morning here in Australia, because Katie records on a Monday, and on Tuesday morning, that's the first thing I do, is I jump on the train, grab my stitching, and I've got my earpods in, and I sit there and listen. A couple of times I've actually been caught out laughing out loud, and people like look at me on the train, because she is very funny with her comments, and she doesn't mind laughing at herself or with herself. It's just amazing to actually watch. So if you need a little bit of brightness in your day, Tuesday morning Australia time is the best time to get on there and have a look at Katie's videos. And I'm going to follow the lines and say, hi Jeremiah, keep going with your shout outs for when your mum stitches the projects for you, your woohoo. It's actually really cool. So that's one person I think you need to go and actually jump on and have a look, and jump on her comments and let her know where you've come from, because she likes to know who's actually shouting her out and where she's getting her likes from. So if you can do that. A couple of other people that these are all probably people that I've watched for a long time, but you may not know of them, and I will link them all down below. So hopefully their links are working and I can get the link easy for you to click on to be able to go over and check them out. They may not be your cup of tea, but if they're not, then that's fine. Give them a like and move on and find someone else to actually watch. There's plenty of us out there to actually enjoy your time. So Kelly, that I mentioned before, Kel Stitches, she's someone that I watch on a weekly basis, because normally she'll have a stitch with me one week, and the following week she'll have her Flosstube update. So even though she's only recording every fortnight, I do actually watch her on a weekly basis with her stitch with me, if she does that. She does do some Flosstube extras, which she's just recently done some dyeing ones. So if you want to learn how to dye fabric, or how to do certain fabric styles, techniques, jump over there and have a look at her channel. Sarah from Sew Me Sarah, I'm pretty sure everybody should be subscribed to her channel. She is one of the most genuine people I think I've ever seen on Facebook. She says it how it is, which is really cool. She has her own opinion, and that's totally fine. I appreciate her for her opinion, and sometimes it doesn't match with my opinion, but that's her, and I think that's part of the reason why I love her, because she's so good at actually being able to get out there and just say it the way that she wants to say it, and without any trying to be offensive to anybody. She's just very genuine. So jump on there and have a look and see what she's stitching on. She's got some lovely projects going at the moment. And another lady that is actually very similar to Sarah is Laura from Stitching by the Shore. She records every Friday her time, and which comes out for me on a Saturday. So that is my Saturday morning. First thing I'm on, and I watch that, and she has some really good length videos. Some are an hour and a half, some are a little bit shorter, some may be longer, but she gets through some amazing projects every week and gets some really good stitching in. So her style of stitching, what she likes to stitch, is very similar to mine. So if you're not following her at the moment, jump on over and check her out. Ebony is another one, and I'm pretty sure her channel is called Stitching with Ebony. I may be wrong, but I will link that down below anyway. Ebony is doing the Magic Roses from Heaven and Earth, which is one of the projects I've got, and I'm failing miserably because I just haven't bothered to get it out to stitch on. I don't think I like the fabric that I'm stitching on, so that's a bit of a deterrent, but beside the point, I haven't got very far. Ebony has actually made some really good progress on hers, and it's looking amazing. There's lots of other projects that she has that are really cool too, so jump on over and check her out. Charly Feathers, so stitching, I think it's Stitching with Charly Feathers. She's a really down to earth UK lady that loves to do all kinds of stitching. So it's not just one genre that she likes. She will go from flowers to little houses to other things. Like, it's just amazing array of all these different ones that she likes to do. So jump on over and check her out. And the last one was Ditsy Daisy Crafts. So that is a very new Flosstube to me, and I've only watched a couple of videos. I'm pretty sure, I think sorry, I'm not even going to guess. I'm not 100% sure how many videos she's got out, but she is very new to me, but I really enjoyed watching her channel with her projects and seeing those. So I look forward to seeing the next update to see where she's got with on the project, on her projects. So that is all of the shout outs. Now I do have 2 more finishes, and I know you're probably sitting back thinking, oh my gosh, Judy's got 5 finishes. They're not fully finished, because we know I don't do that very well. However, these 2 finishes are ones that I can't physically show you because they've already been gifted. I'd stitched these before I left New Zealand, and I left them at a framer in the town that I was living to get framed. And I asked my girlfriend, one of my very good friends from my old work, whether she would collect them for me and post them to 2 of my friends. So she, of course, obliged and said, yep, no problem at all, just give them my number and they can call me. So they called her and said the stitching's all ready. And so I messaged her back, and I gave her the address where I needed her to send one, which would be this one. This is just one that I done over a couple of days, and I've got a girlfriend going through a little bit of a hard time at the moment, and she appreciates me just like I appreciate her, and I'm not going to mention who that is because she'll know who she is. But I do think that we are sisters by choice. I think we were both connected in this world because we're very similar, and we have been through the same sort of tribulations. So always thinking about her and love her dearly, and I wanted her to know that she'll never ever be forgotten. So I did stitch this for her. The other project that I had getting framed was, of course, a surprise for my girlfriend Marlies, who I worked with, and this is the lady that was picking them up for me. So I gave her the address to send the one that I asked for with the cat. And this project, the one that I'm about to put up here, is the one that I said to Marlies is actually for her. Well, she put in her message that she was very very lucky to have actually had me as her friend, and that she wouldn't know what she would do without me for the last little while, and blah blah blah. Also going through a little bit of a hard time. That's just her and her daughter that live in New Zealand. They're from South Africa, and her daughter's decided to move to London with her boyfriend, which means that Marlies is now going to be left in New Zealand on her own, just with some friends, no family, and minimal friends. But yeah, so I sort of felt a little bit like I was abandoning her coming across here, but I made this project for her so that she always knew that I may not always be around, but she might not see me, but I will definitely be there if she needs me. So that was a nice little finish that I made for her, and she absolutely loved it. So lots and lots of finishes, even though I haven't had a huge amount of stitching time. It has been quite fun getting some projects done and dusted and finished. Sorry about all the ums. You don't realise you do it until you sort of sit there and have a little bit of a blank time, and then you go, yeah. Okay, so that is me. My plans are going forward just to finish off Saga, try to get that finished as quick as I can, continue on my train projects, and hopefully come back soon with another video for you. But in the meantime, I will do a flip through of the two books, these two that I just showed. So keep an eye out for the flick through of those. Now, they won't be anything real special like you might sometimes see on other people's channels. I'm literally just going to go through each of the projects and show you, so you can get a gist of what sort of projects are in there and if it's worth getting the book for yourself, because there's nothing worse than finding a project in a book and thinking, oh, I really like that, and spending the money, and then all of a sudden there's nothing else in the book that you like. You've only got the one and you've spent all this money on a book that you're never going to do anything else. So yeah, so that's it stitchy wise. If you want to hang around for a little bit of a life update, it's not very much, it's only a couple of moments, then by all means hang around. If not, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, please click this like, the subscribe and the bell so you know when I'm going to record another video, and I hope to see you next time. So thank you very much for watching. So my life update. On my last video I mentioned that Craig and I were actually a little bit sick when we first got over here. I think mine was like just a little bit of a flu bug, which we thought Craig's was as well, and we slowly started getting better. Well, a couple of weeks ago Craig got really unwell, and to the point where he asked me to take him to the hospital because he was very, very lethargic. He couldn't really move. He had a bad headache. He was achy all over. He had bad pains in his tummy, and was a little bit sort of diarrhea, I guess. But so we took him up to the hospital. They kept him in overnight and pushed some fluids through him and things like that. Said that he's got a gastro bug, and they sent him home. So he come back home, and he wasn't any better, but he come back home, no antibiotics, no nothing. He just had all this fluid that he'd been pumped into overnight. So he dealt with it for a couple of days. He just rested. I had to go to work. Obviously brand new job, couldn't have any time off, but I had to go to work. And then it got to the point where, not last week, the week before, on the Thursday, I could not go to work and leave him like he was, because he was really bad. So I phoned my boss and said to my boss, I'm really sorry, second week into my job, I need to have a day off. My husband's unwell. So he was all fine about it. And so I tried to nurse him the best I could. He started coming right. I got some electrolytes in him, started coming right. And then all of a sudden he went back downhill again. We ended up back in hospital overnight again. They finally, because the first time he went in there, they took like stool samples and stuff like that. They were able to see what he was fighting, the infection. He had a really bad infection in him. He had a temperature of 39 point something, and I was really concerned, and my brother was as well. John kept saying, I'm really worried about him, Jude. I don't know whether he should be home. I think he needs to be at hospital. But the second visit to the hospital, they ended up no fluids. They just actually took some extra bloods. They could see his markers were better than what they were the previous time. But they did give him, because they knew what they were fighting, they did give him a 3-day course of antibiotics with this really strong antibiotic. So he took his 3 days of tablets, and he's now, thank goodness, feeling much better and on the mend, to the point where he's, just before I was ready to record this video, I brought all my stuff out to the van, and he started bringing out stuff that we'd purchased for the van once we collected it. And he goes, oh, I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean. And I said, I'm about to record my video. He goes, okay, then I'll leave and I'll come back after you finish. So there is, behind the scenes here, there is actually kitchen stuff. There's towels, there's everything, sheets, all that sort of stuff. There's all this stuff all over the bed and the sink and the bench, ready to actually be cleaned out and ready to be packed away. So he can do that with me. I can help him after I finished recording this video. So yeah, it was sort of a I got a shock that he even wanted to come out and do anything in the van, because he'd been so unwell. But now he's actually feeling better. I can tell he's better because he wants to come out and do things. So which is actually pretty cool. Work wise, I said in my last job, I don't ever want to find a job that I have to do the end of year process again that I was doing over there. And guess what? I'm a sucker for punishment, because the job that I'm currently doing now is doing exactly that. And as much as I'm experienced at knowing how to do it, like I mentioned earlier in the video, there are things that are actually different with legislation that need to be done here differently, and I have to learn those before I do them. So this weekend's the King's birthday weekend, so we've had 3 days. Today's Monday, and I don't think I said that, Monday the 9th of June. But we have to actually, we would have just relaxed, but I've got my work computer and I've had to sit there and do my work all over the weekend to try to make sure I'm up to date before I get back to work on Tuesday. So everything's all going fine. It is a little bit stressful with having to do that and manage a new team, trying to get the gist of how people learn and who does what and who wants to sit back and do nothing, because I do have one of those team members, unfortunately. But time will tell. We'll just do that. And the job's only for 6 months. So 6 months, in January, February, I could be back in the van here and we'll be travelling rather than actually me working. So I look forward to that. And lots of stitching, because I really like to actually stitch out here. I come out here last night to have a bit of a video chat with some friends. There was 5 of us all together, and it was really cool because I got a feel of what it was going to be like once we're actually in the van and I can stitch. So that was a nice test of how it's going to be going forward, and I really, really liked it. So I need to get rid of my job so I could actually stitch all the time and do some travelling. So yeah, but apart from that, life is wonderful, and just like Katie says all the time, you need to actually find a reason to laugh and find a reason to smile, because there are so many reasons to actually do that in life, and the more that we can, I think it's going to actually go out to other people. So Katie certainly makes me laugh, and Jeremiah is just an adorable young man that really gives it to his mum with sometimes when he comments and things like that, but he's so very polite. So yeah, jump on over and watch for some of those channels if you haven't watched them before, and hopefully you'll sit back and you'll smile and laugh the same as what I have. So which is really cool. Anyway, we're 42 minutes in, and I didn't really want this one to be too long, but as I always say, I do want to try to do it more regularly, and I will come out here and try to record as much as I can. So it's nice to actually get on and actually record the videos, and then you have to spend the time editing and things like that, but which is nothing to get up and do that. But the effort that it takes to do it is, after a week of really, really long hours. I leave home at sort of 10 to 6 sometimes, or 10 past 6, and I'm not home till like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. So it is a long day, and then have to come home and think of recording. But I do want to try to get myself into a regular routine. I just have to work out which day is going to be the best one for me to push myself to do it, so I can be a little bit more regular. I may only have a couple of projects to show you on a weekly basis if I chose to do that, but you'd probably see a better chunk of progress on 1 or 2 projects than you would if I tried to do 10 in the week, which I do see other people do. And 100 stitches here and 100 stitches there, which is great to get a little bit of stitches on all of them, but you don't see much progress on there. And I am one that I like to see chunks of progress on a project so you can see where they've worked. But it's each to their own. Yeah, anyway. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate if you lasted this long. I am going to try to do a giveaway in the next couple of videos, just to show my appreciation, and that here I am in Australia. I probably need to get rid of a little bit more de-stash, so rather than try to sell it, I'm happy to actually just pass it on to someone else. So hopefully you'll have a great week or couple of weeks till I see you again. Please take care, happy stitching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.